Chapter 190, Falling Curtain. That is, this elder moon god's husband was the previous guardian elder, John Xingzi. In the Heavenly Dao Demon Sealing Pagoda, in the Yuanying stage space, a young handsome man was dodging some powerful demonic beasts that were hunting them. They were fighting for their lives just to last for 3 years in here. This was the only way for them to worship in the Heavenly Dao sect, and in front of the demon locking tower. At this moment, there were also countless young jungles gathered. Their strength was relatively strong. Although they didn't succeed in entering the demon locking tower, but they also arrived at the demon locking tower alive. There was no invasion of demonic beasts here. It was very safe. So they cultivated here and waited for the end of this Heavenly Dao sect disciple acceptance ceremony. At the same time, these young jungles were also paying attention to the name changes on top of the huge stone monument in front of the demon locking tower. As Daoyi, Zhao Wuji, Wuxia, and the others left after worshipping the famous masters, some of the young jungles who had entered the demon locking tower also failed to break through the barrier one by one and were teleported out of the demon locking tower. Although these people were not as lucky as Daoyi, Zhao Wuji and the others, they were also taken in as disciples by some of the ordinary elders of the Heavenly Dao sect, and their status was not comparable to that of ordinary outer disciples. 3 months after Kangqian had broken through the 5th layer, Jin San Xiao, Lei Yun, and the others were all teleported out of the demon locking tower one after the other, and they ended up stopping at the 5th layer, just barely passing through the 4th layer. However, even so, they belonged to the upper class of existence amongst the crowd of young jungles, and were accepted as disciples by some powerful ordinary elders. Among them, it was worth mentioning that Lei Yun had been accepted as a disciple by St. Sun King Lei Bao Chon, causing a stir. One must know that in the Heavenly Dao sect, the Holy Sun King's status was much higher than even ordinary elders, second only to the sealed elders. In fact, Lei Baoshan had been secretly keeping an eye on Lei Yun, and this time, Lei Yun had performed well and received Lei Baoshan's affirmation. During the original battle at Fendu Mountain, Lei Yun's father, King Zhenan, had promised Dao Chon, a true disciple of the Heavenly Dao sect, to help out, so Tian owed a favor. It was such a favor that caused Lei Yun to hitch a ride with Lei Baoshan. Of course, Lei Yun ultimately relied on himself. Dao Chon only helped introduce him. What really caught Lei Baoshan's attention was Lei Yun's innate thunder body. It was important to know that although Lei Baoshan possessed an extreme thunder spirit root, there was still quite a gap compared to a born thunder body with a special bloodline, and his technique, if passed on to Lei Yun, would certainly be able to create a new supreme powerhouse. After Lei Yun, Jin San Xiao and the others left the demon locking tower. Kangqian was the only one left in the entire demon locking tower. The crowd of young heroes outside were curiously focusing on Kangqian's name above the stone monument, as they speculated on how far Kangqian would ultimately go. Although these people hadn't seen the battle between Kangqian and Wuxia, they had already heard the news of Wuxia's disastrous defeat under Kangqian, which had left them extremely shocked and stunned. At this moment, within the central space within the demon locking tower, Kangqian awoke from his 3 months of cultivation. As before, this time, his cultivation had once again risen by 1 level, reaching the peak of the 9th level of the Jidan stage, and was no longer able to progress any further, as the next step was for him to break through to the Yuanying stage. At this point, Kangqian's combat power at the Jidan stage was considered to have reached its limit, and the only way to improve his combat power was to comprehend the ideas of a higher realm, or to increase the strength of his physical body. However, whether it was the strength of the physical body or the realm of ideas, neither could be broken through overnight. Therefore, at this moment, Kangqian's strength in the demon locking tower was considered to have reached its limit, There was no way to increase his strength by half a point, and the only thing left for him to do next was to break through the barrier. 6th level. Kang Chon walked to the place where the door leading to the 6th level of space was located, and a brilliant light erupted in his eyes. His shoulder-length hair instantly turned purple as a powerful aura surged out. Before even entering the 6th layer of space, Kang Chon had already displayed the strongest combat state. Of Kang Chon hegemony blood, clearly, he already knew the cruelty of the next battle. Boom! Kang Chon finally stepped into the 6th layer of space, and a powerful aura immediately hit his face. And in the distance, an endless black torrent swept by, but it was a powerful demonic beast. The 6th layer, 100,000 demonic beasts, a full 10 times more than the demonic beasts in the 5th layer of space. Kang Chon didn't have any unnecessary nonsense, directly unfolding the strongest battle force. Holding the long black blade in his hand, he ruthlessly cut down the demonic beasts that attacked towards him. And all of a sudden, there was a river of blood and corpses spreading across the field. This brutal killing far exceeded the previous one. The entire desert was immediately dyed blood red. Some demonic beast corpses piled up on top of each other, looking hideous and terrifying. Kang Chon silently recited the Ice Heart skill, and the black long knife in his hand slashed out a blazing blade on, shattering the long sky and shaking the heavens and earth, decapitating a head of powerful demonic beasts. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, a month's time passed. Kang Chon was still continuing to kill. And at his feet, the corpses of more than 70,000 demonic beasts were already lying at this moment. This was a grueling and torturous battle. Kang Chon's arms were a little numb from killing, but in the end, he still persevered with a strong will. When the last demonic beast was killed, Kang Chon entered the center space with a big breath, and that was when his mind relaxed a lot. Quick look, Kang Chon passed the 6th layer. Only 1 layer left from the record of Daowon. He's already on par with Zhao Wuji, Wuxia, Easy, and Li Chongjiao. Outside the demon locking tower, as Kang Chon passed the 6th layer of the test, a young Junin exclaimed in shock. The crowd couldn't help but look at the huge stone monument in front of the demon locking tower, and all of them realized that Kang Chon's name had advanced by an area, causing an outcry. I was a little unconvinced when I heard that Kang Chon had defeated Wuxia some time ago, but now it seems like it should be true. This Kang Chon does indeed have great strength. I really didn't expect the great Tang country to have two great geniuses appear this time. First Zhao Wuji, who defeated Easy, and then Kang Chon, who defeated Wuxia. Whichever of these two, their future achievements won't be too low. Hee. I heard that Lei Yun is also not bad. He's a special bloodline thunder body. He has already been accepted as a disciple by the Holy Sun King Lei Boshan. His future will definitely not be underestimated. The crowd was talking, all of them staring at Kang Chon's name on the stone tablets, one by one. They wanted to see if Kang Chon stopped at the 7th layer, or if he stopped at the 8th layer, just like Dao Yi. If he stopped at the 8th level, then Kang Chon's strength was unfathomable, not much worse than Dao Yi. In the hearts of the people have speculated Kang Chon's final destination. In the center of the space, Kang Chon has been recovering from his injuries, this time facing 100,000 demonic beasts. He also suffered a lot of injuries. These injuries are in the last few days, when the true essence of the exhaustion of the attacks suffered. It took Kang Chon a full month of recuperation before he recovered. And after that, he didn't continue to cultivate, but directly entered the 7th level of space. This time, he had to face 1,000,000 demonic beasts. 1,000,000 demonic beasts and 100,000 demonic beasts were definitely two different concepts, and Kang Chon, despite displaying Kang Chon hegemony blood's strongest combat state beforehand, was still heavily attacked by 1,000,000 demonic beasts joining forces after entering, and was almost directly eliminated from the demon locking tower. After that, Kang Chon wisely chose to dodge. Anyway, the 7th floor space is very large. He avoided those demonic beasts mainstream. Specialist in sneak attacking those fewer demonic beasts, bit by bit, nibbling away at those demonic beasts. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Kang Chon was still fiercely killing in the 7th layer of space. He operated the Ice Heart skill. His heart was like a blade, coldly and mercilessly killing a demonic beast. Half a year had passed, and the number of demonic beast corpses lying at his feet had reached over 700,000. And by this time, Kang Chon's true essence had been completely exhausted, and he could only rely on the strength of his fleshly body, clenching his teeth as he continued to kill these demonic beasts. This was definitely a struggle of wills. Kang Chon was almost on the verge of collapsing. Fortunately, he had already comprehended the realm of heart like a blade. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to hold on at all. Another half a year had passed, and there were only 100,000 demonic beasts left in the 7th layer of space. At this time, it was the most difficult time for Kang Chon. Both his strength and his mind had reached the edge of collapse, and he was able to support himself with a strong willpower. No, I must hold on. The boundless desert was piled high with the corpses of demonic beasts, scarlet blood spilling all over the desert. Kang Chon clenched his teeth and utilized what little strength he had left to slash and kill the demonic beasts that rushed over. Underneath his feet were the corpses of demonic beasts with blood and flesh flying all over the place. And all that blood had already dyed his body red, except for his violet eyes. At this moment, his entire body was already stained with red demonic beast blood. I don't know how long it took, but Kang Chon survived with his strong willpower, and after he killed the last one, he collapsed in the middle of the desert. At this time, Kang Chon had been completely exhausted. His whole body did not have a trace of strength. That is, his mind was also exhausted. Kang Chon was pushed to the extreme this time. At this time, a golden silhouette appeared in the 7th level of space, and with a wave of his hand, a golden light enveloped Kang Chon in it. At that instant, Kang Chon felt his entire body was comfortable and permeable, like he had returned to his mother's embrace, and he was instantly awakened. Around his body was a golden curtain of light, and the power within this was replenishing the power he had consumed. His body, at an extremely fast speed, was recovering. Such pure power. It doesn't even need to be refined. What's going on here? Kang Chon was stunned, his heart filled with doubt, but he still hurriedly recovered his true essence and injuries before rushing out of the golden light. At this time, Kang Chon saw a golden figure standing not far in front of him, and his entire being shook. My law enforcement elder, Kang Chon, are you willing to worship me as your teacher? The person who came was none other than the elder of law enforcement. He was hidden within the golden light, and his cold and icy voice resounded in Kang Chon's ears. Kang Chon's heart was immediately shaken. Elder of law enforcement, he had heard Emperor Dan say that even in his heyday, Emperor Dan was not a match for Elder of law enforcement. This was a world-defying powerhouse, and this strong man was about to accept him, the disciple, at this moment. Kang Chon's heart was instantly filled with excitement. Disciple greets master. Without any unnecessary nonsense, Kang Chon directly knelt down and saluted. He wasn't a fool. Being able to hold on to Elder Law Enforcement's thigh, he would absolutely walk sideways in the Heavenly Tao sect in the future. Moreover, Elder of Law Enforcement was a world-defying powerhouse that surpassed the Dan Emperor. With this person guiding him in his cultivation, his future progress could be imagined. Get up. There's no need to perform such vain rituals in the future. The law enforcement elders in different words came out from within the golden light. Before the words fell, Kang Chon abruptly felt the surrounding heaven and earth tremble and change. And in the next moment, he had already come to the center of the space, while the figure of the elder of law enforcement had already disappeared. Out of the demon-locking tower, there will be someone to arrange for you. Remember, do not break through the Yuanian stage for the time being. As for the reason, you will soon understand. The enforcement elder's voice resounded within the central space. Kang Chon was puzzled in his heart when he heard this. Don't break through the Yuanying stage for the time being. In reality, after the battle within the 7th layer of space, Kang Chon could break through the Yuanying stage at any time. And as long as he was willing, he could even break through the Yuanying stage right now.